So when you complete a mission, just because you complete it doesn't mean you were successful at it. You have to complete the mission by collecting all of the gas tanks, okay, all of the gas tanks, and making that big battery fill up to 100. So your goal is to earn 100% on each mission, okay? So go back and figure out, why didn't you earn 100%? To me, as a teacher, they show up as yellow or red. Usually it's red because you didn't finish it. Maybe it was the end of the period or whatnot. Yellow means you finished it, but you didn't really complete it. So you have to go back and really look at, like, what is the mission asking me to do? The reason I'm having you do that is so that you gain all the skills that you need. Each mission has a purpose. Right now we're on the foundation. They're teaching you skills that you're going to learn, that you're going to need for later on. Okay, so today, most of you finished Navigation 2, Mission 3 and 4, so I just need a picture of that. When I click on it, I think I did, yeah. So I took a picture of, like, what am I expecting from you? Because some of you still don't do it right, at least like what I'm asking you to do. So upload a screenshot that shows you've completed Basic Navigation 2, Missions 3 and 4. Your screenshot must include your name in the upper right-hand corner. So here's my name. Here's the missions, right, that I've completed 100%. You need to score of 100 for each mission. So, okay, so this is what, like, your picture should look like. Obviously yours is going to look a little bit different than mine, but you get the general idea. Some of you already did this because you guys just worked on Friday, remember? When it says Navigation 2, Mission 5 code, that's the actual code for Mission 5. It's a code that I already wrote, so I know exactly what to look for when it comes to this. So I want to see that code, and the code has to work. There's very little room for, does a code work or doesn't work? There's a very little wiggle room when it comes to coding. So if I look at your code and it's way different than mine, I'll plug it into mine, but if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Like, I can tell just by looking at it if it's going to work or not. Navigation 2, Missions 5 and 8, overall picture. And then
I have a question.
Yes.
What if like the code is like different from yours but works perfectly?
Yeah, so when it comes to coding, like I said, there's very little wiggle room when it comes to coding, because we're basically telling the robot to do one thing or two things, and we all have the same missions. Get the robot from here to there, and we all have the same obstacles, right? So if the code is to turn left for, 3 seconds, and then turn right and then go straight, we're all going to have that same code. Like, okay, you're going to go right and then you're going to go straight. Like, it's the same. The only minor difference is the time. But it's within it's about the same number. We might be off by like a little bit. But if your code says that you're turning left with a negative and the code is supposed to be turning right, like that, and I know that's not right, right, Angel?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Like, and some of you now are at this level where you can actually just read code and go like, yeah, that's not going to work. And I'm there. I'm like, I could read your code and be like, yeah, it's not going to work. Eventually, yeah, there's going to be slight differences. It's very small. You might have a different power, so your robot's going to go slower. And I'll recognize that, like, oh, so he didn't use a power of 100. He's using power of 50. Okay. And what I'll do is I'll plug in your code to my screen. I'll copy it, and then I'll play my robot and be like, oh, okay, it worked. But if it's totally like you made a left when you were supposed to make a right, or you were supposed to go backwards and then forward, but you only went forward, I'll catch those mistakes because you're not done with them. You can fix them. So there is a little bit of wiggle room, just a little bit, but not a lot of wiggle room. Okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Just a little bit. So, okay. So we're gonna do those. I'm thinking everyone should be finished with mission 12. Some of you finished on Friday. So you gotta turn in a bunch of stuff today. Then I will open up the object detection missions, which is the next level, which we're getting to real coding. For that one, well, we're still learning the sensors. Now you're gonna like learn another level, which is awesome. I'll open those up in a little bit. But before I do that, where is it? Is it here? So today we are actually going to be learning something super awesome. Like it's a shortcut. It's called Smart Blocks. Okay, so everybody pay attention to Smart Blocks. Make sure you're paying attention to me. You're not on robot. You're not on Coder Z right now. Come back to me. Come back to me, everybody. I know some of you like just dive into coding, but I gotta show you this because this is important. And this is where 2 weeks from now, if you're not doing it this way, you're going to lose major points. So I'm prepping you now for something that you're going to do in 2 weeks or a week, depending on how fast you go. Okay, so Smart Blocks. At the end of the missions pack, I think it's mission 11 and 12, you will be introduced to Smart Blocks. There are custom blocks you write and use in your program. Using Smart Blocks will make your code shorter and easier. Okay, so instead of writing the whole long code for turning to the right, like, you know how the speed and then the for turning to the right, it was like 1750 was the magic number for turning. We learned that in like the first basic navigation, and it was like, oh, you had to like guess and check a number, and it was 1750, and it was like, oh yay, I figured out how to make a right turn. Instead of writing code over and over and over again, you use a smart code and you save it. And you save the smart code, and then forever and ever of the rest of your coding life on Coder Z, you can always bring it back and dump it in, and the right turn will always be there, and you don't have to type it all out. You don't have to bring in the drive and code it to 1750. It will automatically appear, which makes coding faster. So it's, gosh, what can I relate it to when it comes to you guys? It's like, I don't know. What do you guys repeat over and over again? Like, do you guys have a video game that like you memorize a code and you use it over and over again?
Yeah.
So it's something similar to that, like you use a code over and over again, but instead of doing the whole code, you do it shorthand, you save it. Or like for those of you who you use the same like avatar image for your Google account and like for Canvas, like you change the picture of it. It's kind of like, yeah, like you use that same picture. It's already saved somewhere on your device. You know where to look for it. You just know how to bring it up. You don't have to Google search it. It's there. The picture you use every single time you want an avatar, right? I don't know. Like I want to think of a better example than that, but it's not coming to me at the moment. All right. Okay, I have a question to ask you in your engineering notebook. So I've asked you questions, 3 questions on the 23rd, 1 question on the 26th, and then 1 comment on the 26th. I'll probably at the end of the week, I'll have you take a picture of your answers and I'll grade your answers. So make sure that you are writing these down and that you are answering them. To answer these, they were on the PowerPoint or they're in your code, or you start learning them as you code. Like right now, how do you turn right with code? You should be an expert at that. Now, if you don't remember how to turn to the right, I would suggest you go to navigation 1, and where it says turn right mission, you go back and you read what you did for the code and remind yourself like, oh yeah, that's right. That's how I turn right. Kind of forgot. Right? And then what is 1000 milliseconds equal to? That's basic. That was the basic one. All right. So I prepared 2 questions for you for today. We're gonna be in my notebook. Okay, so today's date is 3/2. So here are the 2 questions of the day. What do call blocks, quotation marks, do? What do call blocks do? And question number 2 for the day is what are smart blocks? Okay, so what do call blocks do and what are smart blocks? I kind of went over right now what smart blocks are, but the program Mission 11 and 12 will also go over that in the little boxes that pop up. For those of you who already did Mission 11 and 12 and you're looking at these two questions going like, I don't know. I don't know. I kind of rushed through that and I don't remember. If you go back to Coder Z and so I already did Mission 11 and 12, right? If you click on it, like if you already did it, like you guys have already completed this. Another thing I don't like about Coder Z, very negative when it comes to this, is that when you guys, you go back to look at your code, is it loading? Can I get? Okay, when you go back and you look at your code will be there, which is fantastic, right? Like I said, take a picture. It was going to be helpful for you. What I don't like is it doesn't give you the pop-up windows anymore, which like when I'm asking you to go back and reference them, it's not there. You could do is hit the tips. That will give you some tips and kind of refresh your memory. But if you're still like, man, I wish I can go back and see the pop-up ones, here's what I would recommend. Take a picture of your code that you did because it's going to be erased. Take a picture of the code that you did. And if you go here, this will restart the mission and say, yes, restart it. So they erase your code completely. You'll, okay. It will restore. I mean, it will just delete everything. You're like, no, but if you do this, it will bring up all of the pop-up windows that you might have gone too fast. So, okay, we got to make it turn to the right. Okay. So if you're missing this, if you went too fast, then what you need to do is you need to hit this after you take a picture. After you take a picture, click this, that will restart it. Okay. So if you're like, no, wait, I want to go back and I want to see the pop-up windows, but I already completed the mission. Darn, I didn't take good notes. Oh, I went too fast. Take a picture of your code. Take a picture of your code because you already did the mission, and hit the refresh button, that little button all the way in the top. It will delete it. It sucks, but it'll go back and it will fill in and it will do the pop-up windows, and those are valuable. And take, you can take notes. Feel free as you go through the missions to take notes. If something that you're like, you know what, I think this is important, but man, Miss Amelia didn't ask me to write it down, but I think it's important. Congratulations, you're a mature student. As you grow older in your education, you realize I got to write things down that I feel important. Maybe when you guys are at 6th and 7th graders, we tell you, okay, write this down. Now write this down. Okay, now write this down. Make sure you write this down. As you get into high school and college, you have to decide what to write down. I still kind of treat you like a 6th and 7th grader. Okay, write this down. But you should start also writing things down that you feel are important, that maybe the teacher didn't tell you 100%. Hey, write this down. But you're like, I want to write this down. All right, hold on. I didn't check the chat. Let me check the chat. Okay. So for those of you, again, your goal right now is to answer this. This is going to be, and I'll give you a clue. This is mission 11 and 12. So if you already did mission 11 and 12, can you answer this? Miss O'Malley, I'm still on mission 5. Awesome. Cool. When you get to mission 11 and 12, make sure you answer these two questions. Okay, so wherever you're at, know that when you're at mission 11 and 12, you're going to be able to answer these. If you already finished those, can you answer them, or do you have to go back and refresh your brain? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't know. It's up to you. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open. Let me pause. So here's my plan for Friday. I'm going to type these questions and the questions that are here into a quiz on Canvas. And on Friday, you're going to type in your answers on Canvas as a quiz. And that's how I'm going to grade these answers. I'm not going to ask for, okay, yeah. I love that. Okay. So you're going to have a quiz on Friday with these questions. And if I ask any more questions, either today or on Wednesday, those will also be added. It just depends on how far we get. How do I know how far we get? Literally, I'm coding with you. I just finished basic navigation 2 this morning. So if I go into my path, I finished all the missions there just today. Okay. And then this is, whoops, not what I wanted to see. And then up here, you get like these like badges every time you finish. Okay. Did everybody copy down the questions? Are we good with that? Are there any questions? No? Okay. You're breaking up a lot. You want to type it in the chat?
Miss Lomeli,
Yes.
what did I miss?
Did you just get here?
Yeah, because I was taking the outback test.